All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something that happens to so many people, but it's rarely something we talk about out loud. It's that feeling of being disconnected, checked out, during moments of intimacy. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, I just want you to know you are so not alone, and what you're feeling, it has a real explanation.
So, does this hit home for you? That strange, out-of-body sense that you're somehow a spectator to your own life, just watching things unfold from a distance. It can be incredibly confusing and honestly pretty isolating, but it's a very real experience for a lot of people who've been through trauma.
Or hey, maybe for you it's not exactly watching from the outside, but it's one of these feelings instead. Like a mental fog just rolls in and you feel miles away. Or your mind just goes completely, totally blank. Maybe it's a numbness, right? Where you can't really feel physical sensations, not pleasure, not even pain. Some people even feel like their body just doesn't belong to them. These aren't just random quirks. They're actually important signals.
Now here's what's so important to understand about all this. These feelings are not, and I mean not, a sign that you're broken. Not even close. We're actually going to reframe this whole thing. Let's stop thinking of it as a flaw and start seeing it for what it is. A deeply ingrained and frankly an incredibly clever survival skill that your brain came up with a long time ago.
The official term for this is dissociation. But, let's just strip away the clinical jargon for a second. At its heart, dissociation is just your mind's way of protecting you. When you are faced with something overwhelming or unsafe, your mind figured out a brilliant way to cope. It learned to disconnect, to just check out, to make the distress a little more bearable. It's an adaptive response.
I love this metaphor because it's just so perfect. When the alarm bells of a perceived threat start ringing, even if the threat isn't real anymore, your brain pulls the fire alarm and sprints for the emergency exit. It's this rapid, automatic escape hatch from a situation that just feels like too much to handle.
Okay, so if it's a survival skill, why on earth is it showing up now? During moments that are supposed to be about connection and pleasure. This is where we have to look at how past trauma can literally hijack present-day intimacy. Think of it like this. Your past experiences wrote a kind of script, a trauma script. And your nervous system, well, it memorized every single line, every cue, every stage direction. So now, even though the original danger is long gone, your nervous system still automatically follows that old script whenever it senses a familiar scene.
So let's break down how this hijacking actually happens. First, a trigger shows up. This could be anything, a certain touch, a sound, even a feeling of vulnerability. Then, your nervous system, which has an incredible memory, instantly recalls a past danger it associates with that trigger. And then, bam, before you can even consciously think about it, that old protective pattern, dissociation, just clicks on automatically. And this right here is the fundamental shift. This is the whole ballgame. The part of your brain that handles connection, vulnerability, and pleasure, it just goes offline. And in its place, the part that's responsible for survival, for protection, takes over the controls. In a split second, intimacy stops feeling safe and starts feeling like a threat you need to escape from.
So, how does this protection mode actually show up in real life? Because by understanding the specific signs, you can start to spot it when it happens. And it's really not just about disconnecting. These trauma responses can actually look very different from one person to the next.
What's really fascinating is that these survival responses can be polar opposites, like two sides of the very same coin. On one side, you've got dissociation, which is a strategy to feel less, to numb out, to detach. But on the other side, you can have hypersexuality, which is often a strategy to feel something else, or to try and take back a sense of control over your body. Both are just different ways the brain tries to survive.
So let's get a little more specific on the signs of dissociation. This is that classic feeling of floating above your body, right? Or having gaps in your memory afterward. The world can feel kind of foggy or unreal. You might not feel physical touch at all. It's the ultimate checkout response. Your body is there, but you aren't.
Now let's look at the flip side, hypersexuality as a trauma response. And just to be clear, this isn't about having a high sex drive. It's about a compulsive feeling, like using sex to escape stress or numb out emotional pain. There's often a real struggle to feel emotionally connected during it, and it can be followed by this wave of shame or regret, even if you feel like you can't stop the pattern.
Look, just recognizing these patterns in yourself is a massive, massive first step. So what comes next? Well,
The really good news is that healing is absolutely possible. So let's talk about some practical things you can do to start moving from that mode of protection back to a mode of connection. It's really helpful to think about this as a two-part path. First, there are things you can do in the moment to manage the symptoms right when you feel yourself start to disconnect. And then there's the long-term healing, which is all about getting to the root cause of why this happens in the first place. You really do need both.
Okay, so what do you actually do when you feel that fog rolling in? Here is a super concrete plan. First, and this is so important, give yourself permission to stop. You do not have to push through it. Second, move somewhere you feel safe. Third, bring yourself back to the present by engaging your senses. The 5-4-3-2-1 game is great for this. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 you can hear, 3 you can touch. And finally, be kind to yourself. This is a survival response, not a personal failure.
Now, for that long-term healing, the goal is really to convince your brain and body on a deep level that you are truly safe now. Grounding helps in the moment, but processing the original trauma is what really changes the game. Working with a trauma-informed therapist is honestly key here. Things like EMDR, somatic therapy, or IFS, they're all specifically designed to help your nervous system finally understand that the danger is over.
You know, this whole journey, understanding what's happening, recognizing the signs, and taking steps to heal, it's ultimately about one thing: reclaiming your own story. It's about taking the pen back from your past and starting to write your own future.
This is just such a powerful truth, isn't it? So often, these wounds we're talking about, they happened in relationships. And because of that, the healing also has to happen in safe relationships. And that starts with the relationship you have with yourself, and then with trusted partners who let you feel secure and seen, without you ever having to act out an old script.
I want to leave you with this incredible quote from Dr. Gabor Mate. It just so perfectly captures what this is all about. You're not responsible for what happened to you, for the things that shaped your mind, but you can take responsibility for your own healing now, for the mind and the world you want to create for yourself from this day forward.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What would it actually look like, and what would it feel like for you to reclaim your story, your body, and your right to have a connected, present, and pleasurable, intimate life? The path always starts with understanding, and I really hope this has been a helpful step on that path for you.